They say blood is thicker than water, but sometimes the family cuts deeper than any enemy. My brother thought he could steal everything my father left behind. The house, the land, the legacy. But he forgot one thing. I don't fight with fists. I fight with silence. And silence destroys. I grew up in Austin, Texas with my brother Daniel. Our father, John Miller, was a hard-working ranch owner who built everything with his bare hands. When Dad passed away, everyone assumed Daniel, the golden child, would take over. He was charming and always knew how to make people like him. But for me, I was the quiet one. The one who stayed behind while Daniel moved to New York. The one who worked the land while he traveled the world. When Dad's will was read, the estate wasn't going to Daniel. It was going to me. At first, Daniel smiled, hugged me, and said, "Dad always loved you more. I'm happy for you." But behind that smile, I saw greed, anger, and betrayal. Within weeks, strange things started happening. Livestock poisoned fences cut anonymous complaints filed with the county. Daniel was behind it, but he played innocently every time. One night, I caught him sneaking into the ranch office copying files, trying to find proof the will was fake. If I confronted him, he'd deny it. So I stayed silent and made a plan. With my lawyer, we created a secret addendum. It said if anyone challenged the will, their share would be donated to charity. Then I waited. Soon enough, Daniel took the bait. He sued me. Officially, the court proceedings dragged on for months. Gossip spread through our small town like wildfire. Everyone took sides. But through it all, I remained silent, letting Daniel dig his own grave. Finally, the day of the trial arrived. I watched as Daniel confidently entered the courtroom, talking to reporters outside. This was his element. But inside the courtroom, he froze when he saw our lawyer. She held up the secret addendum. Daniel's face drained of color. He tried to speak, but it was too late. The judge ruled in my favor, granting me full ownership of the ranch. But there was one last thing. I had Daniel served with the original will. He hadn't taken the time to forge this one. Looking at him, I knew this wasn't about money or property anymore. It was personal. My dad had raised me better than this. But what is a broken vow worth? If you can't stop it, join it. That's what I told myself after I heard my brother's plan to ruin my life. He never liked the fact that I was getting the ranch. It was supposed to be his. He made that clear at Dad's funeral. We were standing next to each other in front of the gravesite, watching the dirt being shoveled on top of the coffin. And Daniel turned to me, his eyes blazing with hate. "You don't deserve any of this," he hissed. "None of it." I stared back at him, surprised by his outburst. In all honesty, I didn't want any of this. I liked my simple life working on the ranch. But this was Dad's legacy. I had no right to give it away. "He chose me," I said, my voice betraying my shock. "Leave me alone," Daniel snapped. And then he turned away, storming off before anyone else arrived. His anger was palpable, like a physical force pushing against me. It scared me. It scared me because I knew how strong his emotions were. I knew how far he would go to get what he wanted. There were times growing up when Daniel would throw tantrums if he didn't get his way. He would scream and kick until he got what he wanted. I never understood that behavior. I was an only child for 12 years, and I know how hard it is to share attention. Then my brother came along. It felt like someone had ripped me from the center of the universe. Daniel was always Dad's favorite. He was the one who accompanied my dad on business trips. They would come home smelling like cigars and whiskey, laughing about some joke only they understood. As I listened to their laughter echoing through the house, I would feel a deep pang of jealousy. I wish I could have been the one going on that trip. I wish I could have been the one making Dad laugh. But I was never good enough for that. I was never charming enough. I was just the awkward kid. When I was 14, I remember sitting in my room listening to them talking in low voices, their hushed tones making me even more curious. I couldn't help but wonder what they were discussing. Was it about me? Was Daniel causing trouble again? I couldn't resist. I went to the door and slightly opened it, trying to listen in on their conversation. Suddenly, I heard my name being mentioned and my ears perked up. I needed to hear what they were saying. But then I heard something that stopped me in my tracks. "I think we need to send her away," Dad said, his voice heavy with concern. "What do you mean?" Daniel asked. "I think it's best for her if she goes away to school somewhere far from here." My heart sank. I slowly closed the door and slid down to the floor, tears welling up in my eyes. I didn't want to go anywhere. I wanted to stay with my dad. I didn't understand why he was sending me away. Was I doing something wrong? But then I realized something. Daniel was probably telling Dad that I was annoying him, that I was getting in his way, so Dad decided to send me away, to protect me from Daniel. I wasn't annoying him. I was missing him, and maybe that's why he hated me. I never understood the depth of his jealousy until I experienced it myself. After Dad died, it was like a monster awakened inside him. The grief he had bottled up for so many years suddenly exploded. He was angry at the world for taking my father away from him. But he was also angry at me for being the one who stayed behind, the one who had shared a special bond with Dad that he could only dream of. He never let go of that resentment. And now, it was consuming him. The moment I read the will, Daniel began his campaign to ruin me. He didn't want me to inherit the ranch. He wanted it all for himself. And he started with subtle tactics, like sabotaging my equipment, spreading rumors about me in town, trying to convince me to sell the ranch. But when I resisted, he escalated. He unleashed a barrage of lawsuits, harassment, and character assassination. The whole town was divided. Some supported me out of loyalty to my father's memory. Others sided with Daniel because he played the victim so well. He made it seem like I was a ruthless person trying to steal his birthright. For a moment, I considered selling the ranch and moving away. Maybe Daniel was right. Maybe I wasn't cut out for this. But then I remembered what my father had told me. "This land has been in our family for generations," he said, his calloused hand resting on my shoulder. "It's more than just property. It's our legacy. Don't let anyone take it from you." His words were a wake-up call. This wasn't just about me. It was about preserving my father's legacy. And so I fought back. I hired the best lawyers and prepared for a long, expensive battle. It was emotionally draining, but I knew I had to be strong. Daniel wasn't going to stop unless I made him pay a heavy price, and I wasn't about to give up without a fight. Now, as I watched him being led away in handcuffs, his face pale and defeated, I felt a sense of justice. He got what was coming to him. It was over. Finally, I could move on with my life. But there was still one thing left to do. I turned to my father's grave and whispered, "I did my best, Dad." As tears streamed down my face, I knew that no matter what happened next, I had honorably defended my father's memory. The battle had been long and arduous, but the victory was sweet. It was a testament to my resilience, to my unbreakable bond with my father, and to the unwavering support of those who stood by me through the darkest days. Now, as I looked out over the sprawling ranch, I felt a sense of pride. This land, this legacy, it was in good hands. The scars of the past may never fully heal, but I was determined to move forward. I would rebuild, stronger than ever before. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I will read you a revenge story from a subreddit. So let's jump right into it. So when my brother Daniel was 16, he got my dad into a huge gambling debt by forging his signature on loans that my dad didn't even take out. My dad found out and grounded Daniel, took away his car, and made him pay back every cent he stole. Of course, this included taking away Daniel's inheritance. But Daniel didn't care about the money. He just wanted his dad's approval. Fast forward to my dad's death a few years later. He left us his ranch and life savings. In his will, he left me, his only child, the ranch and half of the savings and the other half to my brother Daniel. When I went to open the safety deposit box, I found a second will. It was opened and read. It said, "In the event that the first will is contested, all of my property goes to my daughter." This was written in my dad's handwriting. Was this an advance directive? I don't know, but it sure seemed like it. Sure enough, Daniel filed a lawsuit. He stormed into my house shouting, "You forged the will! Dad would never cut me out. You'll regret this." I didn't argue. I simply said, "Do what you think is right." In court, Daniel challenged the will. The judge allowed me to open the sealed addendum to the will. Daniel's face went pale as the words were read aloud. "If any heir contests this, their share will be donated entirely to charity." The courtroom was silent. Daniel didn't just lose the ranch. He lost his entire portion of Dad's savings, too. That night, he came to my house drunk and angry. "You set me up!" he shouted. I just looked at him and said, "No, Daniel, you set yourself up." Then I closed the door for the last time. Some say revenge is best served cold, but mine wasn't cold. It was silent. Because silence doesn't just destroy your enemies, it makes them destroy themselves. OP, if the original will was Daniel's plan all along, then he succeeded in his goal. Well, I'm glad you got your revenge. That's one way to make sure your siblings don't mess with you. Also, if they do mess with you, you can always send them a fruit basket. But anyways, that is all for me today. I hope you enjoyed that revenge story. If you did, please leave a like. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story.